Well, that's a tough way to lose a game. The Oilers fall in an exciting one to the Vegas Golden Knights by a score of 4-2. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Tom Gazzola with you. Shawn Bell, our game analyst, will be with us in a couple of minutes. And Hernan Salas back at EST HQ as the Oilers drop the first of four meetings to the Vegas Golden Knights. We want to hear from you, 780-218-9999. And if you're in the nasty chat watching on YouTube, obviously get in there, share your thoughts on Edmonton's loss. And they collapse in the third period. They collapse in that third period. So let us know your thoughts. And if you're making your way home from the game, listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Apple Music, and of course, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, get into the inbox. GCL Diesel, proud sponsors of the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show. GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to ejectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Hernan, really quickly, I know you were a spicy, picante Latino there. Let's just blow off a little steam now. So blow off a little steam because it was looking good, and then it didn't.
You know, you were saying before we went on air, that's two good teams. It's a good game. It was. It truly was. But again, the details, man, the details. That first goal, I know Belzy's going to join us here right away. I mean, the effort by Bouchard is just pathetic. Look at the last goal, man. Four guys on the same side. Noah Hanifin just walks in. Do you need a damn save? Yes, you do. Do I think Stuart Skinner's a terrible goalie and we should ship him out? No, I don't. But he has to make a save. On the power play goal, I mean...
I agree on that one. He made some great saves tonight.
And for the people who, well, look at Hanifin, he walked in all alone. Okay, look at the save Aiden Hill made at 2-1. Like, he saved it for his damn team. Stu made
some good saves tonight, by the way. He made some great saves. They gave Hanifin the exact same opportunity. The guy's lethal offensively. He's very good offensively. You can't do that. They were sloppy in their own zone the whole game. The whole game. A lot of what Vegas converted on was given to them by the Oilers, in my opinion. And I know Belzy's standing by, and he wants to get into it as well. We will get to him shortly. But Nancito, final thought before I go into the scoring summary, turning point. We welcome in Shawn.
No, and you're right, Tom. It wasn't a clean game. Look at the first shift. Look at the first puck Evan Bouchard touched. A giveaway. Second period, the Oilers were the better team. Yes, but, man, this team, man, the details, and you need a damn save. I'll get to the scoring summary, and we'll return with Belzy and I. And
Serenity now. Serenity now, Hernan. All right, let's get to it. The Oilers lose 4-2 to the Vegas Golden Knights, fall to 6-7-1 on the season. In the first period at 16:05, Jack Eichel. You can't let Jack Eichel get in even slightly all alone, and they did. Bad pinch, slow feet by Bouchard. Jeff Skinner gives up on the back check. Away goes Eichel. Nice move, tucks it by Stu Skinner. Eichel's got 4 on the season from Theodore and Barbashev. 1-0 Golden Knights after 1 in the second period. Here come the Oilers. Brett Kulak, who had himself a pretty darn good game. To me, he was the best player for the Oilers, or among one of the best players for the Oilers. Kulak with the redirection. Tips it home past Aiden Hill. Kulak's got 3 on the season. Darnell Nurse puts it on net. Kulak, what the hell are you doing in front of the net? But you know what? Everybody loves you for it tonight because you scored. Connor Brown picking up the secondary assist, his first assist of the season, 1-1 at 12:18. Then Zach Hyman, the fortuitous bounce off the end boards, bounces out to him. Hill's looking the other way. He tucks it home for his third of the season and third goal in the last 4 games, unassisted. You can, I'll give the assist to the Rogers Place rink crew. But there were a couple of weird bounces on that one end of the ice, and this one gets the Oilers the lead 2-1 at 15:56. Hyman's third. To the third period we go. You knew that this was probably going to happen. The Oilers give up another goal. The PK falters them again. Hanifin, second of the season on the power play from Karlsson and Eichel. Oilers can't get it out. Sloppy in their own end zone. Hanifin risks it home. I think Stu probably should have had that one. 10:05 of the goal, 2-2. And then in the dying seconds at 19:11, they give Hanifin another opportunity after he just got robbed by Stu Skinner on the same look. Hanifin this time changes it up, goes far post. Skinner can't get there. He's got 2 on the night, 3 on the year. Vegas leads at 3-2 at 19:11. Barbashev and Holtz the assist. Oilers running around in their own zone. Yikes. Mark Stone on the alley-oop pass from Jack Eichel. He's got 6 on the year into the empty net. Barbashev another assist at 19:55. That's game 4-2. Vegas. Shots on goal 35-29 in favor of the Golden Knights. Face-offs. Oilers win that battle. Didn't mean 2 points on the board, though. 52.6% to 47.4. The power play, 0 for. Are you surprised? 0 for 1. They only get one chance. And then the PK, 1 for 2. Somehow, at 60%, 32nd in the NHL, they will fall even lower on their PK. Through 14 games, their penalty kill is dog crap. Straight up dog crap. They can't kill anything right now. Hits 29-16 in favor of the Oilers. Oilers fans who've been complaining about the hits should like that tonight. Block shots 14 for Vegas, 8 for Edmonton. Giveaways officially 9 for the Oil, 3 for the Golden Knights. Takeaways officially 8 for Edmonton, 1 for the Golden Knights. The numbers that matter, 4 for Vegas, 2 for Edmonton, and that's 2 points for your Pacific Division leading Vegas Golden Knights. Text us 780-218. I'm getting mad now thinking about it more and more. I'm getting mad. Whew. Settle down, Tom. 780-218-9999. Text us and get into the nasty chat as well if you're watching on YouTube. Turning point of the game before we bring Bellsy in to calm me down, calm Hernan down. I thought I was going to be all right, but now I'm getting pissed off. Whew. The turning point of the game brought to you as always by our good friends over at Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, where they treat you like the pros. Their multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians, along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance performance, they treat you like a pro using the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game. And tonight's turning point of the game, presented by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, is going to be the Aiden Hill save on Victor Arvidsson. Arvidsson, the one-timer. Hill, just desperation, gets his blocker out there. I know Arvidsson would probably want to keep it more towards the left side of the net. It goes a little bit towards the middle. Hill instinctually tries the desperation move, hits the blocker. He gets the save. Lucky, skilled, a mix of the two, doesn't matter. He makes the save. That would have made it 3-1. And the Oilers end up pissing away another lead and ultimately losing 4-2. So there you go. There's your turning point of the game, presented by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Let's get the big boy in here, Shawn Bell, as Edmonton does it to themselves. I think they did that to themselves again tonight, Bellsy. Am I wrong in saying that?
Yeah,
I am.
You are. I mean, it's disappointing because the effort. Let's get rid of the first goal with Bouchard, because that was atrocious.
Well, no, let's not get rid of that.
Let's break it down.
Let's break that down, please, and thank you.
You really want to break this down?
Yes, that's why we're here.
I have a meme. If you go onto Twitter, Dusty posted saying, "Hey, this is atrocious effort by Bouchard." And if you remember, there's a scene in Dumb and Dumber, where he's getting sick and he's about to puke. And he's like, ugh, ugh.
Yeah,
that was that effort. Because it's a defenseman. Jack Eichel is going through the middle of the ice.
Yes.
It's essentially a 2-on-4. And he splits both defensemen. Obviously, I think Ekholm decides to play the puck carrier, which is what he's supposed to do. And then the other defenseman is supposed to shift over so that he's now in front of Jack Eichel.
Right.
He doesn't do that. They chip it. Eichel has a breakaway. And the part that I don't like the most, and I understand that mistakes happen in games, but the thing I did not like the most about that particular goal is that the efforts on the back check. Guys were standing there. I mean, Bouchard was straight-legged. He wasn't even attempting to go back hard. So what does that say about where your head is? Like, it tells me that you don't even want to be remotely involved in this game. That was in what? First, second shift of the game? So at least what it felt like.
That was at, I have it right here, 16:05 of the first period.
Well, yeah, it felt like the first shift of the game.
But Bellsy, like, for a guy that played, how does one of your top defensemen give that kind of effort? How does the coach stand there on the bench and look and say, I hope they said something to him. I hope his partner said something to it. And the worst part, guys, I don't know if you saw it, when the puck goes in the net, he puts his hands up like he's pissed off at somebody. Like it was Jeff Skinner.
I thought he was mad at Skinner. And I thought to myself, Jeff Skinner stopped skating too. He looked at Bouchard.
Yeah, they both stopped skating. But the reality is that's the defenseman's guy. You can't even sit there and blame Skinner. Sure, he could have back-checked a little bit harder. But Bouchard, if you even decided to do remotely what you're supposed to as a defenseman, that play doesn't happen because it becomes a 2-on-2. Mm-hmm. End of story. You don't give that up. And if you do give it up, you might want to back check so you can potentially prevent a goal. But you don't do that. So what's the point of even going out there to play? Because you're just giving them goals.
Belsey, I honestly feel like the Oilers, listen, the Golden Knights are a good team, and they have some weapons. They had 5 or 6 guys at a point per game or hovering around a point per game going into this one. They can score, man. And their power play, 3rd in the league, over 30%, reminiscent of Oilers of yesteryear, if you will. and to me, like, not only did Vegas generate its own opportunities offensively, Edmonton gave them some and said, hey, you want to try some shots on our goalie? Here's a good one.
Like Vegas is a team that's obviously they won the Stanley Cup. They know what they're doing. They've got experience. They're physical. They grind you down. And it didn't matter whether they were down in the game, whether they were up in the game. They played the exact same way. The only thing that it happened in that game is they got more intense as the game went on, and they started to impose their will. And the Oilers started making mistake after mistake after mistake, which started to slowly turn the momentum. And then obviously you get what you get. That's the result. And what you want to see, from teams that have gone to the Stanley Cup and they've won it, or you want to see that experience take over.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And you want to be able to say, okay, well, championship teams, they play the same way the entire time. They never change and they never deviate from the plan. But what you see from the Oilers is that it's almost like they don't trust themselves to get the job done, to stick to what their plan is. So we go back, and we've talked about this before, Tom, is that, well, what's the identity of the Oilers? Like, if you want to be skilled, that's fine. But if you want to be the skilled team, that's fine. But we got to see, you can't be slow and skilled, because that's not going to do anything when you have a team that's just going to run you over the entire time. Bring some intensity, bring some speed to the equation, and that might help you. But it's the same mistakes over and over and over again. The D zone, they give so much time and space where it's just like teams can pick you apart.
Huh.
The goal that they scored, we talked about it right in the pregame. Okay, well, the penalty kill has been not great. What have they been doing? Well, they've been getting picked apart via seam passes. So what happened? They seamed it. All of a sudden, I think it was Nurse goes down. They wait. They move it up top. There was a little bit of a hesitation. 2 Oiler forwards moved out of the lane because they were anticipating a pass that never came. And then the guy shot it in the net. And I mean, we probably can get a save there.
I would like a save tonight. I defend Stu Skinner, but that power play goal.
You have to get a save.
And he made the save on Theodore, or pardon me, Hanifin, like seconds before Hanifin got the same opportunity and buried the second one.
Yep. I would agree with you on that.
And guys, on the winning goal, it's Bouchard, Ekholm, Draisaitl, Podkolzin. We're not talking about, there's no young guys on this team.
I don't know why Podkolzin was out there for that. I know what they were trying to do, get McDavid out there for the last minute, but I'm not putting Podkolzin out there to try to get me a goal. He is ice cold when it comes
Go rewatch that clip and tell me what you see. It's a 2-on-4.
It's a 2-on-4. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, no, it is. It is a 2-on-4, and Bouchard stops moving his feet. If there was even a remote amount of aggression in that play, potentially they can turn the puck over at the blue line, and then they can go back the other way. But you give up lines for free. You allow them to dump the puck. Ekholm goes to the puck. He's trying to get there. Unfortunately, he loses that battle. And then all the other three guys, they go and they puck watch, and you leave a guy wide open. So like it started even before it got into the zone with lackluster play. And this is now in the crucial moments of the game. And you can't even have that jam to go out there and say, okay, well, like, I'm not going to give up this line for free. And you do. And it ends up in the back of your net.
It's mind-boggling, guys. Like, we've looked at a lot of goals against the Oilers this year, and how many times 3 or 4 guys are puck watching.
A lot of
like, they're all on the puck. No one's shoulder checking. No one's looking what's coming up, who's behind them, anything like that. Look at that fourth goal. Bellsy's right. It's a 2-on-4. The only guy that pretty much does his job is Ekholm because he takes the guy who has the puck.
100%. And unfortunately for him, he just lost the battle. But that play should never happen because it is a 2-on-4. So if you have back-checking pressure from the forwards, it allows your defenseman to stay up. So if Bouchard decides to stay up instead of just kind of waiting for something to happen, they possibly don't get into the zone. Maybe there's a chip scenario that happens, but you have numbers and you're able to break this puck out a lot quicker than if you just allow him to dump that puck. It rims all the way around. You're first on it, and then you move it, and then it's in the back of your net.
All right, I want to sprinkle in some text because we got a lot of spicy meatballs out there, and I love it. I'm getting fired up. I'm honestly like, I was like, it's okay. You know, the two good teams play each other.
It's not okay, Tom.
I went through the scoring summary. I'm like, what the hell? And then I started thinking about, and I'm looking at my notes for today, like Oilers giving Vegas lots of chances by being sloppy in zone. Oilers giving Vegas lots of chances, sloppy play again. Bad back check. I'm looking at my notes, and now I'm like, oh my God, why are we talking about this again? Because they keep doing it.
Yep.
All right. SJ Not in the Kootenays texting in says, preparing for another night, learning how none of the goals were Skinner's fault. SJ Not in the Kootenays, not tonight. Not tonight.
Nope. You need to have a couple saves there.
You need a save on that power play marker, and you need to say, you just made the save on Hanifin, and it was the exact same opportunity. Good on Hanifin for a little of adjustment, but you need a save there. So SJ, not tonight. Haas says, man, the Oilers suck. 5-on-5 sucks. PK sucks. Power play sucks. They just played suck. Haas is not happy, that's for sure. Mike in Thunder Bay says 2 more periods with no goals. Special teams awful again. Bouchard with less than 0 effort on multiple goals. I've yet to watch an Oilers game this season. Feel comfortable for more than 20 minutes. This team sucks right now, says Mike in Thunder Bay. He's thinking the same thing as Haas. Let's go to Hampton Steve. Says, Tommy, the Oilers look disjointed all night. And if not for a lucky bounce off the end boards, they really had no right to be in that game. Also, that might have been the worst game defensively I've ever seen Bouchard play. Hampton Steve, there's a lot of examples of him playing bad defensively. You're right. That one could be right up there. Stanley and YYC, before we go into the third period where I think I might get even more frustrated. Stanley says, snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. This team just can't do anything right. Side note, what a terrible call from the refs on Nugent-Hopkins, followed by 3 non-call boarding, cross-checks, etc. Stanley, in why?
Why? I'm not.
Hey, I they let a couple go at the end there. Yeah.
The Oilers got a Kulak trip. That was a trip, man.
It was tit for tat. Yeah. There. It was tit for tat for sure.
I'm not going to buy that one.
Can I throw this in there from Not Fred? I just want to throw this in there because the PKs is a huge topic for the Edmonton
Oilers. It sucks.
Sportsnet just put up worst PKs in first 14 games of a season all time. Minnesota in 73, 74, 59%. New Jersey in 2021, 59.1. Edmonton Oilers now hold the third spot at 59.5%, boys. It
sucks. It's just
unacceptable.
Sucks. It's
unacceptable for a team that's competing for a Stanley Cup. You can't be at 59.5%. I don't care who you lost.
That goal that they gave up on the power play, it kind of just like encompasses everything that's going wrong. You know that this team is going to try to seam you. Actually, they did it earlier, and I can't remember who the forward was, but he had a really good stick. He picked off the pass. They don't get the puck out, comes back, same play, but now this time it's a little bit lower. They actually hit the seam pass. Guy goes down, he kind of runs out of position. They move it to the point, and a simple little stick fake moved 2 Oiler forwards out of the lane. To me, that means you're cheating, trying to get into position because you don't trust what you're doing. Ooh. So that simple stick fake moved 2 guys out of the lane. And it wasn't like they moved out of the lane big time, but it created enough of a lane for him to get the puck on the net. You got traffic in front, it's a goal. But if they don't cheat, then possibly it doesn't go in the net.
The Edmonton Oilers, Belzy and Nanso, have now given up 15 goals on 37 opportunities to the opposition on the PK.
Yeah, that's not good.
They are at home going into tonight 57.1%. That's going to drop 30th. At home or on the road, they are at 64.3%, which is 30th in that respective subcategory of the PK. They are now at what did you say, Hernan? Like 59 point something
5%. It's the third
with 0
worst.
shorties scored. They suck on the PK.
And Tommy, the first PK, I mean, Mark Stone missed a wide open net.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, let's be honest here.
I wrote good kill on first Vegas power play, and I didn't even write the Mark Stone opportunity because I gave them the benefit of the doubt.
You tried to omit it from your mind, hey?
Yeah.
I can't. It's like etched in my mind because I was like, that could have gone in, and then it hits the side of the net. But
Tommy,
it's burned in there. Yes.
On another PK, the one they did kill off, because they were.
That's the same one we're talking about. Yeah.
No, but this was later in the game when the Russian fellow that went off hurt,
Dorofeev.
Yeah. He goes off the ice, guys, and he's going off slow. And you see Matthias Ekholm say pressure the guy on the board because it's 4-on-4 for at least 10 seconds. And that's how out of sync the Oilers are that no one listened to him. Like, no one knew what was going on.
I remember that clip.
It's just amazing how not connected this team is because Ekholm was pretty much saying pressure him. It's 4-on-4.
Belzy in their own zone. I'm going to give the Golden Knights credit where credit is due because they were aggressive on the Oilers when they were on the attack and in the O-zone. But my goodness, there were so many bobbled pucks, crap passes.
Yeah, that was all over the ice. There were so many plays that you knew that the Oilers can make, and they make them, in most of the other games. But for whatever odd reason, they couldn't make those passes. They're simple little plays, popping into the middle and, cross-ice passes. And you could see the frustration on actually some of the players. There was a couple times where Draisaitl didn't get a puck, and he's all of a sudden throwing his head up in the air. And it's just like, he
does that.
Well, that's not going to help the situation. And actually, Connor McDavid did the same thing. Hyman missed him with a pass. And it's like, okay, well, now McDavid stopped skating. And it's like, well, what are we doing here? You're mad at your teammates? Well, it's not like you make every single pass either. So they're completely disjointed.
Yeah.
And you can see that. You can see that frustration that's creeping into their game.
Yep.
And I don't know what it is because they've already had their rager that should bring them together.
Yep.
And so now we're talking about something else. And it's disappointing to see because of the expectations that were on this team coming into the season.
Listen, they're 6-7-1. Jimmy O had texted in and said, "How many games does Knoblauch get?" No, they're not firing the coach. They're 6-7-1. No. They've been disjointed, obviously, and we're talking about it tonight. And again, Vegas, their game plan was probably pressure, and it worked. It worked. On top of the fact that when they weren't pressuring them, the Oilers were still bobbling the puck like crazy and looked discombobulated. That is frustrating. They couldn't complete a 10-foot pass. They really couldn't tonight. And Belzy said that the body language, I'm with him, was bad. It was bad. And one of the most frustrating things in the world when you're playing forward is if you can't get a damn outlet pass, whether it's from defense, your wingers, the centerman. That is super frustrating And
yeah, but what I don't like about it is the fact that it shows up your teammates.
Yeah.
And so when you throw the head back or you just, you throw your stick over your shoulder and you skate to the bench, and it's like, man, I get that, these guys are good hockey players and they're the best in the world, but like there's got to be a camaraderie to what you're trying to do. Guy misses a pass, you can't basically mother blank him in front of the 18,000 fans, because that's exactly what you're doing. And it makes that guy to be like, really, do I want to give you a pass next time? Like,
no.
Belsey, though, is there a limit for forwards there where it's like, let's say it's 5 in a row straight bad passes, you're like, hey, come on, man, like let's get it together here. Like you motivate him and say,
yeah, you go up and you try to motivate him. You give him a little tap on the leg. You're like, come on, man, we need you. We need you today.
Yeah.
Like that's probably what they're saying in the dressing room. We need you today. You can't just like throw your head back and be like, oh my God, I can't believe you do that. But that's what they're doing. And it's like, guys,
Mike Smith used to do that.
And it shows up the team, and it just creates dissension across across your team. And that's not good at the end of the day.
All right, let's go back into the inbox. Tom Gazzola, Shawn Bell, Hernan Salas with you. The GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show. We are fired up. Oh boy, the Oilers fall 4-2 to the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm enjoying this show too, because there's a lot of fire coming up tonight, and I like it. I like it a lot. This one from Andy Pandy texted in, says, Bouchard is an expletive embarrassment defensively. He simply can't expletive. He has zero expletive urgency. It's a joke. This team can't defend a lead, can't kill a penalty, can't defend properly. Do something about it now before it's too late, front office. What are you waiting for? What an embarrassment we are defensively, says Andy Pandy. He had 2 F-bombs in that text. Thank you, Andy Pandy. Lloyd Braun says, defensive awareness for the win. Never mind. Want to buy a computer? Oh, Lloyd Braun. The Dazzler texting, it says, Skinner can't make the timely save. That's frustrating. He made some really good saves tonight, and then you don't get it when you need it most. Super frustrating, Dazzler.
But isn't that's like the, to be a little bit cliche, but like that's the hockey gods talking to you. You're not doing the right things. You're not having the right details, the exact same play. And because you decide to take a shift off, the exact same thing happens. And now you don't get that save. So, we can sit here and say, hey, he probably should have had that save. But the reality is he never should have been in the spot in the first place.
Fair.
Somebody should have went and covered that guy so that he doesn't get that opportunity, because it's a 2-on-4. So if one guy says, hey, there's a guy wide open right there, maybe go skate to him, probably not in the net.
Can I ask you boys a question? Is the second game we saw a lot of Nurse and Kulak on the same pairing, and then the 2 righties, Emberson and Stetcher, on the same pairing? And
they did that a bunch tonight.
Yeah, they did it a bunch. And check this out. Nurse and Kulak led all defensemen in ice time, over 23
Kulak
minutes.
was the best defenseman on the team tonight.
Yeah.
But Belsey and Tommy, what do you guys make of going with the 2 lefties and then going with your third pair of the 2 righties who only played 13 and 12 minutes? Is this just loading up your top 4 with the vets?
Go ahead,
regardless of which side they shoot?
To me, you're trying to figure out some chemistry. You're trying to figure out what is going to be the lineup that gets me to a win.
Yeah.
End of story. Like that's what it is. And, as much as we're kind of, upset at Bouchard right now, Bouchard and Ekholm are your number 1 pair. And then you're trying to figure out, who can help Nurse in that, that top 4 spot, and then go from there. So, we've talked about that one before with Kulak and moving him out of that, the 5 spot to 4. Well, it kind of worked today, but when I watched that game, I wasn't concerned about Nurse. I wasn't concerned about Kulak. I wasn't concerned about Stetcher. I had a little concern about Emberson, but he kind of makes it up because he tries.
Yeah. And he's more physical lately,
and he's definitely been more physical. So I can live with a little bit of the mistakes because of what he's trying to give you with the effort and with the fact that he's trying to be a little bit more physical. Ekholm, you can't really chirp much because that guy's a stud and he's rock solid. But the problem that we have, I guess, is today Bouchard cost him, in my opinion, 2 goals.
And the Oilers, here's the other thing. The Oilers can only score 2 goals a game, evidently.
Yeah.
They do not score.
It's because they don't go to the hard areas. That's why. And they had to have Kulak go to the hard area. for them to score.
I never
That's
thought
incredible.
of it that way. Yeah. And then everybody's not everybody. Some fans are complaining about penalties, but Bellsy just nailed it on the head. It's because they don't go to the tough areas. They don't earn any power plays.
They get like 1 or 2 power plays every game. They haven't had 3 or 4 very often this year because they don't do exactly what Bellsy said. And I'll just wrap up this point that you had asked that question, Hernan, about them stacking up Kulak and Nurse together. To me, I echo everything Bellsy says. I'll just add this. It's a clear indicator that they're trying to keep this defensive unit together with duct tape and whatever adhesive they can until they can finally pull off a trade.
No, that's a good point.
Yep.
And that's a sign of that to me, at least.
And guys, remember, Stetcher left the game, and didn't return.
Yep.
Good point. So we're going to see Dermott. We might see a call-up.
Well, hopefully that tape is Gorilla tape because they're going to be a lot longer before waiting for that defenseman to come in. Unless they decide to pull a rabbit out of the hat and Bowman gets on the phone and he makes his trade. But right now, like from everything that I've heard, I don't think they're going to be making that trade as of today or even tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Bellsy, you need flex tape, Gorilla Glue, Gorilla tape, tape, whatever they use on space shuttles just to get this thing through the next 20 games.
Hey, Bellsy, just an FYI, Gager's chirping you on the nasty chat.
Why?
Saying Shawn Bell brought to you by the men's salt and pepper.
Oh, buddy, look at that wisdom. Look at that wisdom right there. That's beautiful.
Very distinguished.
You just got to worry about picking the Cheetos out of your belly button right now, buddy.
To Joaquin's credit, he did say that Skinner needs to be better. I hate to say it, but there's a guy from the goalie faction saying, "Listen, you need more from your goaltender." And I know Joaquin. I told him to shut up earlier, and I meant it. But he is very right in making the point about Skinner tonight. So, Gager, I love you. I'm just kidding. All right, let's go to Shaggy in St. Albert, who says, the offense, still pathetic in terms of finish. Second goal was a fluke play. Shaggy, you're right. Bouchard with another pedestrian defensive play. And how many block shots did the shin pad assassin have tonight? Special teams suck again. Nuge with dumb offensive zone penalty. Every goal against was a major defensive breakdown. Oilers make sure to not even get the loser point because you don't want that. Most demoralizing way to lose. Oilers are fragile, mentally weak team, pathetic team, says Shaggy in St. Albert. Justin Texan says, Tom, boys, flat out not good enough. Bouch was awful. Hyman's path on the forecheck on the first goal was so bad. Stu is not the problem at all. Unreal from Justin. Big Dave says, this post game is going to be spicy. This one was good until it wasn't. This team has no attention to detail. For all the years I've been watching this team, one of the most consistent problems they have is not being able to play a full 60. Doesn't matter who the coach is or who's on the roster. Thank you, Big Dave, for that one. All right, Tom Gazzola, Shawn Bell, Hernan Salas with you. GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show, Edmonton falls 4-2. Get those texts in, 780-218-9999. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button. All right, Nanso, any text you want to get to? Do we have audio or anything like that?
We do have audio. Yeah, okay. A few texts. This one says, good show tonight, gentlemen. The team had zero intensity. Bouchard is the poster boy for not caring. And that's, to me, the big one is just the lack of intensity. And I told you guys last time, Bellsy wasn't on the last postgame, but I said, I'm done with the excuse. The hangover's over. Like,
it's over.
Yeah, you lost. And you're playing the highest level of hockey you've ever played in the Stanley Cup Finals, but you're a month into the season. It's time to get going here. And it seems like it's just, again, it's the details. It's the little things. It's just not good enough for this team. We also have Nuge, who's becoming sort of a whipping boy right now, the post-game show. And we also have Matthias Ekholm, so you let me know where you want to go. And
Bellsy, you pick.
Let's go with Nuge.
Okay.
Right, here's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins following his team's 4-2 loss to the Vegas Golden Knights.
You obviously going to the third period, close game, but what were a couple details that prevented you guys from putting it away today?
I mean, I think just my penalty, obviously. They capitalized, and then I don't know about the third one. I thought it was a quick play. I don't know. I haven't really taken a second look at it yet, but played a good game. It's frustrating to not come out with at least a point there.
Ryan, you don't take that many penalties. You seem obviously disappointed by that one. What kind of happened there?
I mean, it's. I don't want to get into it too much. I mean, he makes a call. I feel like I'm trying to just make a play on it. Obviously, from his angle, it's a penalty, and he calls it. Tough time to take it. Yeah, it's as a killer, especially the way it's kind of gone so far for us. It's. I mean, it's not fun being in that penalty box, especially at that time. We've worked so hard the rest of the game. So obviously, would like to have that one back.
You're grinding for offense as a group. Ryan, does it feel like the margin for error is just really slim? The way it's been going now.
Yeah, we've tonight a great example. I mean, we just work, and it takes a lot to put them in right now. I think we're still creating lots of chances. We're bearing down when we have a chance, but I mean, we faced some goalies who were playing well against us, and I think sometimes you just need to continue and put your head down and get a bounce here or there. I think when you get those bounces, it's because of your work ethic, and obviously we're not going to stop.
But for you, Ryan, like you're trying to find it this year, obviously. How have you felt about your game and kind of your I don't know, the effort you're making to try and get back on the right side of it?
I mean, I feel like I'm still creating stuff and getting my looks. It's not going in. But I mean, this is not the first time I've gone through something like this. I mean, you play a long time in this league. You go through tough stretches. There's a lot of hockey left in the season for us as collectively and individually. So I know I'm going to put my head down and keep working, and expect the same from this group for sure.
Right. I know it wasn't the result you wanted, but just having McDavid that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's our leader, the best player in the game, so makes a big difference for us.
You mentioned you think you're getting a lot of chances still. I just wonder about your line with you and Henrik and Brown tonight. You thought that, being on a new line and how that went?
I think first time playing together for the most part. I thought we played well. We created some stuff. Obviously got that one. Didn't give up too many chances. I think we can probably, because me and Rico both, are used to. Well, I've been more wing actually than him, so we can talk a little bit and get used to that. Just coming back in the D zone and stuff like that. But I think overall, I think we connected well, and we definitely just have a simple mindset of just getting it in there and trying to go to work from there.
Listen, I admire and commend him for saying you just got to put your head down, work, battle their way through it. And Nugent-Hopkins, he owned up for the bad penalty. It's just not happening right now for him. I did think early in the game he was moving his feet a little bit better. I think that's when he's at his best. I didn't mind some elements of that line's game early on, but ultimately it wasn't particularly good at the end of the night. Nugent-Hopkins stat line, no points, 2 penalty minutes. Talked about it, obviously. 15:44 time on ice. 3 shots, 1 a block shot, 1 hit, and 50% on the dot. Bellsy, anything stand out to you from what Nugent-Hopkins said? Bellsy, unmute yourself as well.
Yeah, thank you. To me, I feel like he's putting a little bit of the blame on himself with that bad penalty, but
sure,
you can't necessarily do that. I mean, the kill wasn't good. He created chances, in my opinion. I thought he was actually in a really good spot with that line. I actually liked that line. The Oilers didn't get it done as a group, and you can sit there and you can say, yeah, your penalty was the one that cost the game, but like that game was turning anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of you taking that penalty or not, that game was turning. And maybe you would have got to overtime, but the way that Vegas was coming on late, you never know.
Guys, can I? And maybe this is a little bit of fandom coming out, but because we have Matthias Ekholm too, and I'm seeing Kulak's response. It seems like there's, and I'm not saying they need to panic, guys. I'm not. This is a veteran group.
They're 6, 7, and 1.
But I would like to see a little bit more oomph in these. Like, it's not good enough. Like, all you hear is like, oh, we're playing good. Like, for the most part, it's just, we just can't find.
But they're not.
But that's what I mean. Like, it's okay to be honest, and I'm not saying throw your teammates or anybody under the bus, but you can reflect on yourself and be like, I need to be better. We need to be better. I just find this group is far too very Evan Bouchard about it. Just calm, cool, like, we'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
They were like this last year.
I know, but for me, there comes a point where shouldn't you just, like, I think the fans would like to see that these guys think it, and they do probably think it's not acceptable, but just to show that emotion sometimes, and I'm not saying every player has to do it, but someone step up. Like Perry did it early on after the 0-3 start, and we haven't heard anybody really be upset about what's going on here.
So if you were to take their sample size, all their games, what would you give them as a grade? An overall grade of what that would look like, whether that's a 1 to 5 scale or if that's an A, B, or C. So you think C minus?
C minus.
How many good games have they played, guys, out of their 14? Honestly.
5.
Where you're like, that was a good effort.
5.
Yeah, I was going to say 4, but 5 is, yeah.
Yeah, so I would have said probably a C plus maybe. But for them, what the issue is that, they may be thinking they're working hard. But every single team that shows up in Edmonton is saying that team right there is the preseason favorite to win the whole thing. That team right there was 1 win away from winning the Stanley Cup. We better be ready because we don't want to get the doors blown off of us. So every single time a team steps foot again on the ice against the Oilers, they are getting their absolute best. And the Oilers haven't realized that yet. There is a target on the Oilers' back. And you got to show up and you got to play. And you got to be ready to go. And there's got to be a little bit of, to steal some lines from Guy Boucher, energy, effort, and enthusiasm.
Yeah.
That's all he ever talked about is energy, effort, and enthusiasm. Because if you have those 3 things, you might actually, play well. But I don't see the energy for the 14 games that they played. I rarely see the energy. I rarely see the effort, and I rarely see the enthusiasm because to me, it looks like it's a chore half the nights.
Yeah. It's like, just take us to April and we'll start playing big boy hockey. That's what it seems like.
But if you keep doing that, well, yes, they're 6 and 7, but if they keep playing and having that same mentality, they might not see the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think they will.
I think they will too, but it can't be, Tom, the exact same regurgitated crap that happens every single game. And we come on here, I've been on this show 3 times, and every single time I've been on this, it's been the exact same conversation. Well, no intensity today. Oh, well, we'll get them next time. Well, okay, sure, you'll get them next time. But at what point do you just want to show up, beat the brakes off somebody, feel good about yourself, go to bed, wake up, and repeat it?
It's a fun thing to do.
It really is.
It's very satisfying. It's very satisfying. And I just want to point out, Belzy, that you did not include their 1 overtime loss. So they're 601. Thank you. Okay, a couple texts, then we'll go back inside the room, and then we'll get Belzy's thoughts going into Saturday in Vancouver. We got to get to the player of the game as well. Taco texted in. Hello, Taco. Good to hear from you. Says, that was ugly. Sometimes you got to laugh and move on. We had a little laugh there, which is good. Ken says, Hernan, please go ballistic on Bouchard on the game-winning goal. WTF was he doing? Just watching the puck. How did he not see Hanifin coming down the side? Ken, very good question. Completely valid. Mark says, Skinner lets in another goal that should have been stopped. The defense is horrific. Scoring again, an issue. Refs have been bad for a few games in a row. Refusing to call anything but call a weak one on Nuge. Effort and mental awareness is scary. So frustrating. Mark with that one. Mark, I will say this about the officiating. It is bad across the board and has been now for running on about 8 years. Dirty Curdy says, Dirty Curdy with a couple here. McDavid comes back, and we're back to playing AHL defense. Pathetic. Kulak was our best forward tonight. Also, correction, beer league, and this home record is atrocious. How do people pay money to watch this? Dirty Curdy with some fire. All right, let's go back inside the Oilers locker room. Hernan, who do we have?
I want to hear from the coach.
All right.
Is that cool?
Of course.
Are you guys okay with that?
Only if you are.
And side note, Vegas picked up their first road win of the year. And of course,
I wasn't going to say it.
Of course it comes against the Edmonton Oilers. Anyway, Here's Coach K. This one's for Matthew Wanek.
Against tonight where guys kind of walking right down Main Street on you. What did you see happen on maybe those two guys were kind of given those opportunities?
Yeah, the last one was they rimmed the puck in. We got a battle in there, and there should be support in the corner, but there wasn't the support that should have been there. So it looks bad on Eki, but it's not Eki. Eki should have help there, and they're able to make that cross-ice pass, which makes it very difficult for a goalie to make that save going east-west down the slot. And just about a minute before that, we almost gave up a very similar shot, which, just can't happen if you want to win hockey games regularly.
With Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, I mean, he obviously wasn't happy with the penalty there. What have you seen from his game? You see him sort of fighting his way through it. What are you getting from him right now? What did you see tonight?
I thought their line had some chances in the first period, maybe some in the second, and that's unfortunate with the penalty. 200 feet away, it's tough to take an offensive zone penalty from your net, which when we had the lead. But I think with Ryan, it's been not that he's playing bad. I've seen him play better. I've seen him play much better. But I think I can say that for our team as a whole.
Chris, on their when you watch the replay on their first goal, is that just a quick transition goal, or do you see guys who didn't read the play the way you'd like it to be read?
A little bit of both. It's just some details that we're missing, and obviously right now we need all the details possible. When the pucks aren't going in for you, you got to be able to play good defensive hockey, and tonight I thought we started off playing pretty good like that. They had some obviously scoring chances. They're always going to get scoring chances. They're a good team, but as the game went on, that's when I thought our details dropped.
Chris, just right here. Matthias Ekholm actually felt that the penalty kill did a pretty good job tonight, yet you do give up the one goal. What do you attribute that to? How did you kind of see that happening there tonight?
They were able to make a seam pass. It was a very high-level pass. We had it covered off pretty well, but it got through us. And then once that pass gets through it, then you're in scramble mode. And right then it became scramble mode. There was a lot of good things on the penalty kill, the clears and some denials, but just not good enough.
What did you make of your?
Definitely not good enough. Chris Knoblauch, pretty honest there. Yeah, he's right. He also, the one thing he didn't, outright call out Bouchard, but he said Ekholm needs support there.
Yeah.
That's on Bouchard as we put it together. He's being nice about it, obviously. Also, he talked about Nugent-Hopkins, said that he's seen him play better, and among many others as well. So, he's nice, but he's being honest about it, and he has his way of saying it, and I can appreciate that. Belsey, some thoughts from you on Knoblauch, and then we'll get a look ahead here.
Yeah, I think he talked about the seam pass that they gave up, and they did some good things on the PK. I think this is probably overall one of their better games when it comes to the actual PK itself, but you still give up a goal, and we talked about it. You give up that seam pass, and everything kind of goes to crap after that because they're scrambling, and as soon as they move that puck up top, you've got a defenseman sliding. He's on the ground. He's now out of the play. He can't recover. He moves the puck up to the defenseman. We talked about the little stick fake, the little head fake, and then all of a sudden we're cheating and we're running out of position, and you have a wide open shot. So, the PK, while they do some really good things, which I did like, they had they took away the seam. They picked off passes at the right times. They had some good clears. But at the end of the day, their fundamentals, their habits, their details ultimately cost them on the PK because they're able to hit the same seams that they'd been trying to hit almost the entire time.
All right, Belzy, they get the Vancouver Canucks in Vancouver on Saturday night. The Canucks are off to a decent start this season. They are at 6-2-3 and have won their last two. They haven't played that many games compared to everyone else. They've only played 11. What has to happen Saturday night for Edmonton to be victorious?
Well, once again, I'm going to go back to the well with Mr. Boucher. Energy, effort, enthusiasm. Show up like you want to be there. Have the effort, because the game's not going to get easier. You know, Vancouver's got a bit of a formula in terms of what they want to do to the Oilers, and it's be in their face and take away all the time and space and make their stars have to fight through everything. And when we've seen that happen with the Oilers, sometimes it doesn't go favorably. So they've got to make sure that they're ready to go. They've got to get out, skate. They got to make Vancouver chase them, and then you can probably put yourself in a good spot. But if you come out with lackluster efforts, well, your lips are going to be up against the glass for 60 minutes, and you're probably going to be pissed off again, flying back home or driving home or whatever you're going to be doing at that point.
Well, if it's any solace, the Canucks are just 1-1-3 at home so far this season. But, hey, the Golden Knights hadn't won on the road. Slump busters.
Sloppy.
LZ, great work tonight, my friend.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. And
sounds good.
Get some rest, my friend. There you go. There's Shawn Bell, our game analyst, in for Matt Cassian. Great stuff from Belzy. Up front, honest. Energy, enthusiasm, and effort is what Guy Boucher used to teach a young Shawn Bell in his playing days, and we'd like to see that from the Edmonton Oilers, certainly. 1 out of 3 isn't good. 2 out of 3 usually not good enough. You need 3 out of 3, and we really haven't seen that enough this season. All right, Reed Wilkins standing by. We do need to get to the Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite Player of the Game. Damon Bunting is a consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team, of course, would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community-driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com. Visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Hernan, who is the Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite Player of the Game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with what did one listener say? He was the best forward, but he's a defenseman. Brett Kulak with a goal on the night, a nice deflection off the Darnell shot. +1, 23:48 time on ice, the second highest on the team, and a lot of that playing on his offside there, Tommy and Reed. So for me, Brett Kulak, who's been a bright spot so far this season for the Edmonton Oilers, gets the Damon Bunting Player of the Game.
Very nice, Hernan. Very nice. Let's welcome in Reed Bartholomew Wilkins to the post-game show. Rick, you were in the room. We listened to a couple of clips there. We heard from Nugent-Hopkins. We heard from Chris Knoblauch. What did you gather being in there and listening to the players and the head coach tonight?
Start, Tom. I'm going to single out 4 plays in the third period.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that this is the entire game, but it's just 4 things that caught my attention and are an indication of some of the lack of details and execution that this team is experiencing, and I think is continually costing them points here along the way, along with some other things. So there's a 2-on-1 that develops in the neutral zone, I believe, after Hyman kind of corralled a bouncing puck, and the Vegas right defenseman was pulled up to the red line, and McDavid gets in behind him. And Hyman has a relatively short, what I would consider an easy pass for an NHL player to hit a streaking McDavid, who likely would have turnstiled the left shot defenseman who was back, and he would have had a breakaway. I don't know if he would have scored, but Connor McDavid would have had a breakaway. Hyman misses the pass, and it goes into the corner, and then instead of a scoring chance, the Oilers have to start forechecking.
Right.
Missed opportunity. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins offensive zone penalty. It's an obvious hold. Nuge kind of alluded to not liking the call or maybe the angle the referee had on the play. It is an obvious penalty.
He had his hand in there.
When you have a 1-goal lead, what was it, about halfway through the third period?
Yeah.
There is nothing to gain if he were to well, I mean, I know he's trying to gain the puck, but from the position he's in, he doesn't have to hold the player. Take a couple strides and get in position to angle him off. or let your other winger go in there and forecheck on him. That's a bad detail. That's a silly penalty that put them on the power play. I have talked a lot about Podkolzin this year, that I'm not sure about his offensive instincts and his puck skills.
Yeah,
I
not
have zero,
to be fair,
but not great.
That he has shown improvement, specifically in the games they won in Nashville and Calgary. But he's on the ice in the final minute, and they're trying to cycle and forecheck, and he has the puck on the right wing, I think kind of on the hash marks near the boards.
Yep.
And I don't know who he was passing to, but the pass gets deflected and stolen, and that started the Vegas rush for the game-winning goal. And then the fourth detail is the game-winning goal. I'd have to go back and watch it. I think it might have been a partial change, but they didn't have guys coming back. It was a 2-on-4. I kind of think it was a tough. The puck goes into the corner. Ekholm chases it with the forechecking Golden Knight, and it gets tipped towards the net, and then Ekholm's out of position. But I'm not saying that that's on Ekholm. There should still be plenty of Oilers back. So that doesn't turn into basically a partial breakaway for Hanifin, from where the speed he came with, and where he wound up shooting the puck. So I'm not going to look for an individual player to assign blame on that play. I'm just going to say cover the damn slot in your own end in the final minute. Somebody do it. Even if it's not your guy, get back there and do it. Like, take care of a detail. Preserve the point in that situation. Give your 3-on-3 stars a chance to win it in overtime. So, and this is the frustrating thing for this team. Continually over the years, and look, they have been a good team. I'm starting to wonder if they're going to be a good one this year. But they have this uncanny ability to beat themselves and make big errors. And I guess maybe it's just the DNA of this team. I guess maybe it's just the players they have, because there are plenty of teams in the NHL, and some of them that aren't very good, that are mediocre non-playoff teams, but they do not give you anything for free. Right. Like, they might lose a game 4-2 because they just don't have enough darn talent, and they can't score more than 2 and aren't quick enough or good enough to stop 3 or 4, but they don't hand opportunities to the other team. And I feel that's something the Oilers did tonight. I know other things went wrong. They lost the special teams battle again, this, and this. But those are just some 4 specific things I wanted to point out from the third period.
I like that you wanted to point those things out. We got a text from Guy who says, I'm liking Reed right now. I thought I was spicy off the top. Hernan too a little bit, but Reed getting feisty is very, very nice. I like this side of you. It's dangerous. Let's get to a couple of texts. Reed Wilkins with us here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Edmonton falls 4-2. Gazzola and Salas with you as well. Text us 780-218-9999 as we decompress a bad collapse in the third period for the Edmonton Oilers. Eden says, hey, boys, a silver lining to Bouchard's poor play is maybe he won't cost $10 million to sign long-term. He is just setting piles of money on fire. I saw Penner's Pancakes in the Nasty Chat say something similar. I chuckled to myself before we went on the air. This text says, do you think number 2 is missing some players his own age, like 37 and 71? It's like he is pissed about the lack of people his own age should be. I don't know. They all get along really well. Reed, what would you say to that? Like, saying a group of his peers his own age for Bouchard. I don't think that's a factor.
I don't think that would be a problem. No. And really, when you think about it, the large majority of them are in their 20s.
Yeah.
I know some guys are over 30, but it's not like there's guys my age in there, Tom, that they're trying to bond with.
You're 21.
Hey, Matt
Mr.
Hyman.
Wilkins, what's a video cassette recorder? That's a young Oiler asking me that question.
Matt Hyman says the Wilkino Heat. I like that.
Oh, the Wilkino Heat.
Bansky says great analysis, Reed. And Reed, it's interesting you brought that, because I agree on the Podkolzin, and eventually you have to produce. And there's a lot of guys on this team, but I brought it up with Tom and Shawn and Belzy on the pregame show. I said, because everybody keeps saying this team's going to score eventually. But I brought it up and I said, what if they just don't? What if it's just one of those years where the power play is not going to click? They're not going to be, in the top 10 in goals for. And you just brought it up yourself. You said maybe this team's just not going to be good enough this year.
Well, I've been one of the people saying that they will score and the power play will be good.
Me too.
So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not afraid of being wrong. I gotta say what I believe about the team based on what I've seen in recent seasons. If they're scoring 2 goals per game, they won't make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Even if their penalty kill gets way better.
They only score 2 goals a game.
Nobody scores 160 goals and makes the playoffs. So, now again, there are chances. They caught a break on the Hyman goal, which they probably felt they deserved because they did have better scoring chances than they missed, or Hill made some good saves as well. But once we get what was this, game 14?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so once we get to game 16, that's 20% of the season. And then once we get to game 20, that's 25% of the season. So by that time, it's not just a bad start. It's not just, they were playing game 7 3 months ago. It's starting to be trends and maybe what the team is. And that's not a positive thing to think about because they've let a lot of points slip away already. And I was talking about this on my show yesterday with Jay, I was focusing on the penalty kill at the time. If they had an average penalty kill and were still scoring at this rate before tonight's game, they would have allowed, I think, 6 fewer goals against. So that's probably 2 wins, maybe even 3 or 5 points or something like that. So that's just the penalty kill, even with a bad power play and mediocre or poor scoring from a lot of their players.
And that would have them top of the Pacific or right there in that top echelon there. Yeah. Okay, let's go to this text. I like it. It's from Dawn. Dawn asks, she says, "Good evening. I just don't feel any cohesiveness from the team this year. When is that going to kick in? Thanks, Don from Edmonton." Any takers, boys?
Well, that's a good question. There's a hitch in their step is almost the way to put it,
and not a good hitch.
No, not a good hitch. Not Ken Hitchcock either. But this is what I said this to you on the oil stream at noon, Tom. I don't think they're horrible. I know it feels bad. I know people would wish they were 11-2 right now. I don't think they're horrible. But it's like if someone's golfing and you're hitting, you can feel the shot, and maybe you're in the fairway or you didn't miss by much, but you're only getting 75% of a clean shot.
Yeah,
right. You can just feel that it's a little different, that it's not quite clean, and that's what I feel like. Still with the passing sometimes, though the passing is way better than it was at the start of the season.
It was awful tonight, Reed.
But that's true. It probably was a step back tonight, and again, not just the breakout. I'm a big believer that if you want to point out mistakes a team makes, there are offensive mistakes as well that cost goals or scoring opportunities, and that's why I brought up that Hyman pass to McDavid. That is a must execute. Just like how Bouchard has to take the guy on the first goal, it's a must execute to give your best player a breakaway if you can complete a relatively simple pass. But yes, there's just a hitch with how they're not finding each other on the attack, not smooth on the attack, hesitant on the attack, and therefore they're just not getting enough looks. There were moments today I thought they created more scrums around the net.
Yes,
early. The fourth line had probably 3 really good shifts over the course of a game, offensive shifts, which for a fourth line is pretty good. But just it's some of the big. I mean, again, Nuge 1 goal, Arvidsson 1 goal, even McDavid with 3, having missed a couple of games. You kind of hope he'd have a little more, and then of course the power play doing nothing. So everybody who says they're not clicking is absolutely right, and we all have our own theories on it. But they're a team of almosts right now, and almost don't get you wins. You can't, they don't give you 3/4 of a point for having an almost game.
All right. Thank you for that text, Don. And Reed, excellent answer. Lebanon Don texting in said, "This team went from an embarrassment of riches to just an embarrassment. So frustrating to watch these guys fumble things left and right. This team doesn't look like a team right now. So hard to enjoy the game right now. Bouchard is 55. What is that guy talking about? He went to school with my dad, Lebanon Don, who also goes by Pizza Boy. I like it. And what did I have here? I wanted to read one more. Troll chiming in saying McDavid was MIA tonight as well. Might as well have sat out another one. Guys, what do we think of Connor McDavid making his return after missing the last 3 games? I mean, you could stretch it to 4 because he played 1 shift against Columbus last week.
I don't agree with Troll. I don't think he was MIA. I mean, was he at the top of his game? No. But I think he had good moments. I mean, we can look at the power play. Sure, they moved it around nicely, but again, nothing connects. But all in all, I don't think Connor McDavid was terrible. I don't think he was great either. I just think he was okay.
Wookie?
Yeah, kind of the same. But again, that's kind of like the whole team. Like this was not a disaster, and we've seen 2 or 3 disasters this year. This wasn't but this was a winnable game where, at times they weren't good enough, or they didn't complete their execution, or they didn't come up big. Big in a big moment, and even guys, even on the PK, and I do feel that there are some people who are too harsh on Stuart Skinner.
What about tonight?
The second goal, that's the one.
Yeah,
it goes through him, and anytime it goes through a goaltender, it's going to raise the question: should have that been sealed off?
Yes,
especially if it's. Even if it's on the power play, and a lot of times with a power play goal, I don't criticize the goalie as much if it's a one-timer or a tap in or something like that. But that's the one. I realized maybe he didn't see it all the way, but Hayden, there were, especially in the first period, there were a couple shots Hayden Hill didn't see. Remember a couple hit his pad?
Yep,
because he just was down and hit his pad. So that's the one for Skinner. But again, things are piling up. Nuge puts them in a bad situation with that penalty. They allow a cross-seam pass, which they do way too much. It leads to that shot from up high. So things just pile up, right? Because if you don't take care of details 1, 2, and 3, then detail 4 might wind up in your net.
Yeah. McDavid tonight, -1, 21:02 time on ice, 2 shots and a takeaway. Face-offs, 61.5%. This text comes in from Matt Hyman, says, tell Reed to not yell at the kids too much for career day tomorrow. LOL.
Well, I probably won't. I'll try to be enthusiastically positive.
Where are you going, Reed, again?
I'm going to Holy Trinity.
Oh, my
for
own
their career day.
grounds.
I'm doing 4 presentations of about 50 to 55 minutes each. So
I went there for grade 10 and 11, Reed.
By the time I get to work.
Reed, I went there for grade 10 and 11 before I got booted out. But yeah, good time.
You got expelled?
Well, I didn't get expelled.
Way.
I just wasn't allowed back. I was a stupid kid. But have fun, Reed.
Smoking cigarettes, were you?
Smoking the devil's cabbage in the washroom. I will mention your name in the hallways.
Perfect.
Oh, please don't.
All right, Reed Rick, last one from you. How does this Oilers team get a win in Vancouver where the Canucks are 1-1-3 so far on home ice this season?
Don't take a penalty. I mean, offensively, it's tough. I mean, I guess you have to keep grinding away. It's not like Knoblauch has to design new ways to pass and attack.
Mm-hmm.
Keep grinding away and keep getting bodies to the net. They did that at times better tonight and maybe could have been rewarded. So that's why I think they can maybe deserve that break that Hyman got off the weird bounce off the backboards in the second period. Yeah, just increase the concentration level and the intensity level, and don't beat yourself. But I mean, I'm a broken record here, guys. Like, just
we all are.
Just figure it out. What do I always say? Figure it. Like this was a game. Figure it out. You're up 2. The other or you're up 2-1 in the third. The other team is pushing.
Yep.
Figure it out. Don't open the door to them. And they did. And they
rolled out a red carpet after they opened that door.
Here you go with 40 seconds left.
Yeah. Here, have this. Take it. Reed Rick, good luck tomorrow at Holy Trinity. Yeah, I know you're going to be great, shaping young minds, and great stuff. Thank you for hopping on tonight. Always appreciate it, my good friend.
Okay, see you.
Bye, Reed.
Hey, get out of here. There you go, Reed Wilkins from the Reed Wilkins Show, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk 6. 3 to 6, Monday to Friday. Him and Jay Milne. Great. Eric Sobrowski was on with them today. Awesome interview. You got to meet him.
What a down for a guy in the major leagues, Tom.
Yeah.
Pitched in the playoffs. What a down to earth, absolute gentleman. Great guy. And a great interview. Check it out. Wherever you get your podcast. It was outstanding stuff.
Or go back and watch it on YouTube.
One or the other, right?
Yep. He was great. Good Edmonton kid playing in the majors for Cleveland. Really neat and excellent to have him in studio with the boys. And he was there for like 40 minutes. So that was awesome. In his offseason, he had, and I love that Jay asked him about this because the perks of playing in those leagues, like you have chefs for each team. He's like, at one point, I had a ribeye for 12 straight days.
Wow.
And Jay was just like, yes.
That's the dream.
Excellent. That is the dream. And he gets to live it as a major leaguer. So check it out after you finish watching or listening to this show. I did see a text really quickly. If people are still listening on their way home and if they live out of town, Nash in Whitecourt says, tell everyone to avoid Highway 16 West. It is completely effed. Hopefully I got that out to a few people that might be able to benefit from it, but yikes. Hopefully things are going to be okay there. Not Fred says the Oilers play ring around the boardsy. Husha. They shoot from the edge. Yeah, they had some of that. And then Big Uke says, Dry's done his thing in McDavid's absence. McDavid's not been good in McDavid terms all season. And Mike from Calgary says, great fire tonight, boys. And why play a full 60 when you can rest in the last few minutes?
Exactly.
Mike from Calgary, bravo, sir. Bravo. All right.
Text of the night. We have no prizes.
Text of the night. No, not yet. Final words from you. What are you going to say going into Saturday?
I mean, they got to figure this out, Tom. I'm still, it's mind-boggling that this team at this juncture in their tenure as a group, as a core, what they went through last year is still sitting here and can't focus in on the details.
Yeah.
I'm blown away how bad certain players have been, the lack of offense. I'm blown away by Evan Bouchard's lack of urgency. I'm not saying he doesn't care, because obviously he does, but there has to be more give a you know what on this team, and you want to see a little bit more a fire from them when you know. And you said 6-7-1, but that's not good enough, Tom. At least for me, I know that's not good enough for a team that's contending for a Stanley Cup. And yes, they have deficiencies on defense. The goaltending's up and down. Up front, your bottom three in goals for. The special teams are a train wreck. I get all that, but this team shouldn't have this many issues. I'm sorry, and there's no excuses. And if they're going to go into Vancouver the same way they've played so far, they're going to get their butt kicked. Because I'll tell you something, Vancouver is a different animal, man. Vancouver, for me, brings more energy, more physicality, more hustle than the Vegas Golden Knights, who are a hell of a team. Vancouver will run them out of the building if they don't show up and focus on the details, get a save, and figure out the damn special teams, Tom.
Like our dear friend Belsey said earlier in the show, effort, intensity, and enthusiasm.
Yes. We'll see. Great show, though. The Nasties was awesome.
I've calmed down a little bit.
Everybody brought the heat tonight. I love it.
That's right. You've rubbed off on everybody, Latino heat. I love it. Big thank you to Shawn Bell and Reed Wilkins for stopping by. Belsey filling in for Matt Cassian. Hernan was great as usual. Everyone, lots of texts tonight and some doozies. Some of them I was laughing at while I was reading them. And then the nasty chat looked pretty good as well. That'll do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show. The Oilers fall 4-2 to the Golden Knights. They piss it away, as we like to say, and that's not good. 6-7-1 is their record going into Saturday night against the Canucks in Vancouver. For the boys, Hernan, Belsey, Riedrich, I'm Tom, saying thank you. Have a great night, everyone. Drive home safe.